Good evening and welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, March 13. If you're watching live on Monday, March 13, we encourage you to call in if you have comments or questions. Our call-in number is 769-1677. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for 2 weeks from today, March 27th at 8 p.m. with a work session at 7. And we have our annual organizational meeting, which is a special meeting on Monday, April 3. That starts at 7 p.m. Here at Village Hall. We'll be having a public hearing on the draft budget for fiscal year 2017 and 18, which is Wednesday, April 5 at 8 p.m. So some of those dates are unusual because of the way the schedule fell. So anyone interested in the public hearing on the budget should note that it's Wednesday, April 5 at 8 p.m. And then lastly, and perhaps most importantly, remind everyone that 2 trustee seats are up for election, and the voting takes place here at Village Hall in this room, Tuesday, March 21, from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we encourage everyone to come and vote. Our purposes tonight are to lead off with one of the happiest events we have in the Village of Pleasantville, and that is to honor one of our police officers with a promotion. So let me switch locations. As many of you know, we've had some recent transitions in our police department, and Chief Eric Grutzner is our police chief and has been ably fulfilling that role. He was elevated from the role of lieutenant, which created an opening in the lieutenant slot. After careful consideration by the chief and his team and by the village board, we're happy to announce tonight the promotion of Sergeant John Listwan, who will tonight be called Sergeant John Listwan for the last time. We are delighted to have you and your wife Laura, your sons John and Jake here for such a happy occasion. So I invite Chief Grutzner to come and offer some remarks about the promotion.
Excuse me. Good evening, Mayor Scherer, village trustees, village administrator Dwyer, members, family, and friends of the Pleasantville Police Department and the Pleasantville community. When I became chief 4.5 months ago, other chiefs I met told me that I would have good days and bad days. Tonight qualifies as a good day. Before I begin tonight, I would like to take the opportunity to thank Sergeants Juan Garcia and Sergeant Kevin Gilmartin for their professionalism and for their support of the department, of me, and of John during this promotional process. Juan and Kevin were the other 2 candidates on the lieutenant's list, and while I know they were both disappointed not to be promoted, they were the first 2 members of the department to congratulate John when his promotion was announced. Tonight it gives me great pleasure to be able to recommend John Listwan to the village board for the position of lieutenant. John and I go way back. In 1994, John and I were hired onto this department together by Chief Anthony Charletti. We were the first new hires made by Chief Charletti and the first officers Pleasantville had sent to the police academy in 10 years. John and I met that night in Chief Charletti's office before we headed up to the old recreation building on Great Oak Lane, where the board meetings used to be held. My first thought on meeting John was, wow, this guy is pretty intense. His handshake was firm, and he didn't smile. After we graduated from the academy, it was not long before we both had nicknames. For some reason, I was Opie, but since it didn't really fit, it never stuck. John quickly became known around town as RoboCop, a name each generation of kids in the village seemed to arrive at independently. John's intensity, self-discipline, and professionalism are obvious. In 1998, John attended the FBI's criminal investigator course, and the investigations and follow-ups that happen on his tour are always thorough and well-organized. He has been one of our firearms instructors since 2001, where he does a terrific job of maintaining the critical discipline and safety measures that are necessary while establishing a positive learning environment. As far as we can tell, he survives mostly on lean protein, vegetables, tree bark, nuts, and yogurt. But there is another side of John. When we were new to the Pleasantville Police Department, sergeants stayed at the desk and rarely, if ever, went on the road. When John was promoted to sergeant in 2004, he became the first sergeant to regularly leave the building to supervise the officers on his shift, as well as to handle calls for service. He did this because he recognized that the best way to do his job was to know everything he could about the people in the village and what was going on, things he could not know from behind the desk. Today, due in no small measure to John's example, sergeants regularly patrol the village alongside the men and women with whom they work, making and maintaining relationships with the public and staying informed. John takes great pleasure in interacting with diverse groups of people throughout the village. He never misses an opportunity to catch up with an old friend or to attempt to make a new one. When you ask the people who know him, John is always friendly and engaging, and he remains honestly concerned for the welfare of other people. Although we have been friends since that first meeting in 1994, it is John's commitment to Pleasantville over the past 23 years and the high level of service that he has always provided to the people who live here that makes this an easy and satisfying recommendation to make. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And John, if you can join us here for the oath of office. If you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, John Listwan,
I, John Listwan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Code of the Village of Pleasantville,
the Code of the Village of Pleasantville,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Police Lieutenant for the Village of Pleasantville
of Police Lieutenant for the Village of Pleasantville
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Lieutenant, welcome. The risk of poking him on his first day as lieutenant falls to his wife.
Yeah, I'll take it for you.
We can take them for you if you want.
Want
Do
me
you
to
have
take
your
it
phone?
now?
No.
I'll poke it. Purposely, I'm sure.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
All right, sign the book. Commit yourself. And so to make this all official, and then we can all release you from the opportunity to hear the rest of our dry as dust resolutions, Steve, resolution number 39.
You got it. I'm very happy to read this for everybody. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby appoints John Listwan to the position of Police Lieutenant, effective March 13, 2017, at a salary of $143,729. Said appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 12 weeks to a maximum of 52 weeks.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
Congratulations. Now, John, which son's birthday was it that we took you from? We're so
Right.
sorry.
Thank you
We
for
kept him
giving us-
here so long. We're sorry.
So we'll take a brief break, Shane, and then come back in a couple of minutes, give people a chance to shake hands, and we'll reconvene for the rest of the meeting in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. We had a brief break congratulating our new Lieutenant John Listwan. So a happy day for the Village of Pleasantville and for the Pleasantville Police Department. So back to our regular order of business. The next thing to report is, as probably most of you listening are already aware, we're expecting a heavy-duty snowstorm that will begin tonight sometime overnight and potentially drop, what are they saying, Patty, 18 to 24?
18 inches to 24 inches.
20 to 32
But it
is
could
the
get,
latest.
yeah, it could get from 27 to 32.
Yeah, it's
Stay in the house deep.
It's
Wind
gonna-
gusts from 25, sustained wind gusts,
25
25 to
36.
40.
Yeah.
And,
Good to say a lot of snow.
A lot of snow.
no, sustained wind and gusts from 45 to 60. That was the 4:30.
It'll be a
report I
record
got.
breaker, I'm sure, somewhere.
And
Hopefully not here.
So in that connection, I issued early today an emergency order that requires that everybody stay off the roads starting at 1 a.m. On Tuesday, March 14. So effective 1 a.m. Tuesday morning, that is in a few hours from now, you are required to keep cars off the road, and that is both parked cars and driving cars. The purpose of that is to allow our DPW folks to get through and plow, but also to avoid tying up emergency services with fender benders or worse at a time when it is critically important that we maintain as much access as we can for true emergency. So please don't add to the problem by respecting the state of emergency. We'll lift that as soon as we can. That's true in most of the communities around Westchester. We are mustered with our forces to grapple with all of this, and we'll be plowing and picking up snow in dump trucks and taking it away as we need to. If we get 20 to 32, is that what you said, Steve?
No,
That's
so
the latest.
it's 24
Yeah.
to 32.
That-
That's the maximum.
That would be a whole lot of snow. So
And also, it's at certain points, it's supposed to fall between 2 to 4 inches
That's
an
right.
hour, which is extremely difficult for our guys to clear. And as Peter was saying, this is usually not a one night. This will be a 24-hour event, a 12-hour event, and it will take probably 36 to 48 hours after that to really clean things up, cart things away, as the mayor was saying. It's just not going to happen very quickly. When it's snowing that quickly, 2 to 4 inches an hour, once they make a pass, usually the first pass is to clear the road for an emergency vehicle. The second pass is to widen it back to its perimeter. And when you're snowing 2 to 4 inches an hour, once you make that first pass, it's already covered. So it's going to be very difficult. So as the mayor said, it's important to listen to the state of emergency.
And be patient. I think that's important too. We will get it cleared. It just, if it's taking longer than you think, it's because they're working as hard as they can.
and if there was a novel you haven't read, maybe this is an opportunity. A few other things to report. One is those of you who are members of the Community Choice Aggregation Program that we enacted back in 2016, and we're receiving energy from Con Ed, but through Con Edison Solutions, which was the contracted supplier, have been receiving a raft of mailings lately because, as we reported at an earlier meeting, Con Edison Solutions was sold to a company called Constellation. Has no effect whatsoever on the rate you pay. It's just a change in the owner. But the latest development is that the state government has established a surcharge on everybody's electric bill that is essentially intended as a bailout to prop up some nuclear plants upstate. And as a result, you perhaps received and noticed in your mail another mailing. Joe forwarded that to my attention. I got one too, reporting this additional cost. So for insane reasons, by the way the law is written, it will show up as an increased rate for your electricity. It's not actually an increased rate for your electricity. You'll still pay the same rate that we contracted with Con Edison Solutions and now Constellation, but there's a very modest increase that will be put on everybody's power supply all across New York State to
The
pay
first
for
of
this
many.
new state thing. So,
That state thing I would call a tax.
That-
But they don't put it on the bill as a tax.
Question.
yeah,
They don't
there's a
break it out,
reason.
right? They don't
There's
break it out.
there's a
Bury
reason
it.
that it's
They bury
buried. And I might also add that it's a complicated story about the. I think New York State has done an impressive job in many ways in comparison to other states in trying to think about the future for its electric supply system. But at the same time, as the governor has announced the plans to close Indian Point, he is also establishing this fund to extend the lifespan of some plants that are upstate. So above our pay grade to sort it all out, other than to report to you that there's a reason you've been getting all these letters, and it has nothing to do with the fact that your core rate has changed. Lastly, anybody who's interested in following some of this can go to westchesterpower.org, and that is the website set up by Sustainable Westchester for the Community Choice Aggregation Program, you can see information about your rates and how it has played out in comparison to the default rate that you might have had if you were not in the program, as well as lots of other useful information, including info about this. I'm going to do a PCTV show in the next week or so, I promise, Shane, to go over the Albany legislative agenda that we brought in the New York Conference of Mayors to the Westchester delegation up in Albany. A long list of things. I was this year the legislative chair for the Westchester Municipal Officials Association, and came with a 3-page document outlining the things we were hoping that Albany might tackle. Left without a whole lot of optimism, but there are a couple of high-profile items that I think we might get a foothold on, and so I'll do a PCTV show for the civics geeks that would like to hear 30 minutes about that instead of a minute and a half. Stay tuned on that. As many of you know, we've been working with BFJ Planning to start to think about revising the zoning in concert with the completed master plan. Met tonight in work session with Susan Favate from BFJ and are starting to look at the actual zoning code that was presaged by the decisions made during the master plan. So anyone who's interested in that should stay tuned. Good reminder to go to pleasantville-ny.gov, left-hand column, subscribe to news, and at the same time subscribe to Code Red, which is our emergency system. Two worthy things to do that I hope everybody would participate in. Reminder again that we have a village election coming up, and I encourage everybody to vote on Tuesday, March 21 from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. here in this room. Last two other items I had on my list. One is that the farm market continues indoors at the Pleasantville Middle School, thanks to the Pleasantville School District for making that possible. They complete their successful winter run and are back out to Memorial Plaza on April 1. So the April and May time period is a ramp up to the full bore farm market that we know in the summer, but farm market indoors through the month of March and outdoors on April 1. And then lastly, I was in a meeting the other night that included a presentation by Con Edison about a program they are going to be rolling out throughout Westchester. Not clear when Pleasantville will be included, but they are putting in quite a bit of new equipment. It's actually one of the biggest capital investments that Con Ed has made in a long time to create a series of smart meters so that the electric and ultimately gas meter on your house would communicate directly with a communications device at various points on the telephone poles. That will not only allow automated reading of your meters and avoid the need to have meter readers, but it also will provide a vast new array of information at Con Edison about the demand and the timing of the demand for electric and gas in their system. And it will also automatically alert them if your specific house has an outage. So I'm sure that Con Edison, when they get close to Pleasantville to do this, will come and give us the details, but some new equipment will appear on telephone poles, and a series of advantages will accrue from it. So it was an interesting presentation that between now and 2019 will cover pretty much all of Westchester. Anybody else have reports to make?
I don't have a report, but I wanted to add one thing about the storm. The potential of a high wind event with a very heavy snowfall event raises the possibility that there's power outages. And I just wanted to remind everybody that if you have a power line that's come down in your property area or on your road, please don't touch it. Don't try to kick it out of the way. Don't get a log that you can push it out of the way with. Don't try a rope around it and try to drag it out of the way. Please just leave it alone. Call Con Ed. They are going to have a lot to do, but they'll get to it eventually. It's just every major event like this carries the risk that somebody tries to do something with a down power line that is extremely dangerous. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Alrighty. Then, did you have anything, Joe?
Just wanted to say, anybody who's sitting around at home tomorrow and you're a little bored and you don't know what to do, get on your computer and go buy your tickets for the Drowsy Chaperone.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Which is the high school production.
Assuming you have power.
Oh, that's fun.
It's going to be on, their last performances are Friday night and Saturday night, and there are tickets available, and you can also buy tickets at the door. And I have to say, I've seen a lot of high school performances, and one of the most enjoyable high school performances I've ever seen, both because it's probably the greatest show that I never heard of before. I don't know where it came from, but it's really a fun show. And the performances are great, the kids are great, the songs are great, their voices are great. Yeah, I'm just astounded to see what a nice job they did and how hard they worked on it, and it's a great show. So for a cheap ticket, you can have a really, really nice evening. So go see
And
the
there's a
Drowsy
lovely young
Chaperone.
star in there by the name of
Lindsay, no.
Stargiotti.
Stargiotti.
My daughter's in it, but
Is-
it's
is-
she's
and
good,
also
but
Shane's
they're all
daughter
good.
as well. But
Yeah,
I
Shane's daughter.
believe is this the daughter that was all section,
Or all region?
all region?
She sang in the
All
All-State.
Eastern.
Eastern.
Sorry, I
She
didn't
sang in
get
the
it
All-State
right.
Chorus, and she's going down to Atlantic City in May to sing in the All-Eastern
Very
National
talented
Chorus.
young
They're going to be
woman.
all world.
Yes.
So
Good for her.
Joe is completely conflicted. Say this, of course, because his daughter's in it, but I echo everything he said. phsplay.org is the place to go to buy your online ticket and show up. There are only 2 more opportunities, Friday and Saturday. It is not only a great show, but a great village tradition for this community to support that great tradition. So thank you for bringing that up. All right,
And then Con Ed's number, if God forbid you lose power
idea.
tomorrow, 1-800-752-6633. And, we can't, as Steve was saying, we can't even touch anything until those wires are out
Or
of there.
cleared
So,
out. Yeah.
So
it doesn't happen, though.
after the election on March 21, our next regular meeting is Monday, March 27. Mindy, after 9 years of service on the board, has decided not to run for re-election this time. And so Monday, March 27 will be her last meeting. But we will save our farewell for Monday, April 3, which is our organization night, because after all, she's still a trustee until the witching hour on that day. So those of you who have been amused or annoyed by Mindy might
I'm
want
sure there
to
was a lot of both.
One of those two camps is
sometimes at the same time. I can speak for myself. We'll have some comments to
boy.
send her off on Monday, April 3 at our organization night. So.
Thank you. I think my husband is probably saying, oh my God, I have to watch another football game now. He thought he was off on Monday nights. Now I get to stay home and watch him. So,
All right. Having exhausted the announcements, Mindy, number 40.
oh, I didn't realize. That's right. I would do this one. This is usually yours,
But
Stephen.
I did mine already.
That's right. Resolved that the pre-check register dated March 13th, 2017, covering check numbers 3371 through 3428 and check numbers 85749 through 85865 have been reviewed and they are hereby approved as listed below, covering the general fund, water fund, capital fund, refuge fund, trust and agency fund for a total of $221,002.44.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions on the check register? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Number 41, Joe.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the minutes of the meeting held on Monday, February 27, 2017.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or
I have a one
corrections?
comment. Unless there's a new mayor, the first paragraph on the second paragraph on the second page is Mayor Schmidt.
Yeah.
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 I'm doing too many municipalities. And by the way, I
like
did
that
to
guy,
Mayor
Mayor
Schmidt
Schmidt.
as well.
Oh, you did? I was gonna say, Peter, is there something we don't know
Yeah, you
about?
have to talk to us.
I answered almost anything. but since Mayor Schmidt has been brought up,
That's funny.
Mayor Schmidt is Greg Schmidt. He is the mayor of Croton. And I would like to report that the New York Conference of Mayors meeting in Albany took place
Judy, that's good.
in the middle of February, and we were due up there on a Sunday in the middle of a snowstorm, and I reversed course with my plan to drive to Albany, and instead went to, of all places, Croton, and took the train to Albany because of my commitment to get there regardless of what the weather threw at us. And the aforementioned Mayor Schmidt decided,
Was on the
who
train with
actually,
you?
no, he lives in Croton, but he did not go to his train station. So I chided him about that
Okay.
the other night. So,
So we're now at war with Croton.
yeah. There being no further business, we have a work session to
vote?
continue.
We have to vote.
Didn't we vote? Did we fail to vote on the minutes? All right. All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Except for with that one.
Except with,
With our real,
as,
with the real mayor.
as
Yeah.
modified.
As modified. If there is no new business, any comment from the public on any subject? No takers. Is there a motion to go into executive session on matters of CSEA contract negotiations and advice of legal counsel?
So
So moved.
Second.
Mayor, I think we have somebody here who wants to address us. Perhaps we can carry on in work session before we go into the executive session.
Okay, you wanted to be in work session?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll have a brief work session and then follow into executive session. I thank you all. We'll see you back in 2 weeks on the 27th.
Good luck.
Good night. Stay warm. We'll report how we did with a big snowstorm. I, for one, thought we were done with this.
good night.
Good night.